Now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, Ken, and thank you for tuning in to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. I'll be joined by Paul Zeise in just a couple moments, and we're going to be talking about the Steelers. We're also going to be talking about the Penguins' big win tonight. 2 straight games now with 6 goals. It looks like they're flexing their muscles a little bit. And I'll tell you what, Phil Kessel played with Sidney Crosby tonight, and that line looked unstoppable. Phil Kessel scored 2 goals, had 2 assists, a 4-point night for Kessel, and 87 had a goal at the end of the game. He had the 6th goal of the night, but he also set up Kessel twice with these cross-ice, cross-the-crease passes. It was basically a layup for Kessel. The Penguins look good tonight. They beat the Islanders. And just a few weeks ago, they were in last place in the Eastern Conference. And now they're back in the playoff picture in the Metropolitan Division. They're in 3rd, passing the Islanders. Both teams have 29 points. So the Pens are starting to look like they figured things out. And I guess they're doing it at the right time. Sidney Crosby said you can't take it easy anymore. You're getting to the point of the season where you got to pay attention. You got to start making moves. I think that point is January, but at least that they're not, taking it easy and going through the motions, which I think that was part of the problem here the last couple weeks, what they were doing. But they look good tonight, that's for sure, winning against the Islanders 6-2. Like I said, the 2nd straight game, scoring 6 goals. And the Steelers. How about the Steelers right now? They lost their last 2 games, but you wouldn't even know that if you were looking at the Pro Bowl voting. 8 players lead their position in voting. James Conner, he's the 5th highest vote getter in Pro Bowl voting, and Antonio Brown is not too far behind in 7th. But 8 guys lead their position in Pro Bowl voting for the Steelers, and the Steelers have a big game in Oakland, and you would think, looking at that, this should be a slam dunk for them to win this game, but not so fast out in Oakland. They should win this game. They're a 10-point favorite, Paul. This should be one of those layup games, but you see that with the Steelers. No game is a layup game when they seem to play down the competition all the time.
Well, I think the thing about the Raiders are they're bad in the areas that the Steelers should really be able to exploit them. Their defense stinks. Their front 7 stinks. You can run the ball on them. I think they give up like 5.1 or 5.2 yards per carry. They're 31st or 32nd in scoring defense. They're 31st or 32nd in total defense. I think this is a game where the Steelers should be able to move the ball up and down the field and score. Derek Carr presents some challenges, but not nearly enough. I mean, if the Steelers lose this game, they will miss the playoffs.
Yes.
And you know what? If they lose this game, they're not a playoff team
anyway.
Well, they
should miss the playoffs.
So that's the bottom line. To me, I think they'll go out there and handle business. The Raiders are putrid. I mean, they're so bad. Even, last week, they took the Chiefs, so to speak, down to the wire. I don't know if you watched that game. I don't know that I ever felt like the Chiefs were really in danger of losing it. It was just kind of like that was one of those things where they did some good things earlier. I mean, did some good things late, the Raiders. So they'll score some points. But, this could be a game like the Carolina game where the Steelers put up 40 to 50 points.
Well, it should be that game. And, the one thing that's scary about the Steelers, they just beat themselves. And that's what they did in Denver. And that's kind of what they did against I keep wanting to call them San Diego, the Chargers. Yeah, and I think that's the way they could lose also if Derek Carr plays out of his mind. But what are his receiving threats? He really doesn't have anyone to even throw the ball to.
But I would say this, though. Jacksonville, Denver, and San Diego, all 3 have reasonably good defenses.
Yeah.
The Raiders' defense is so bad. I mean, the Steelers should not have to worry about it. I mean, do you see their sack numbers? Like,
well, the Steelers?
The Raiders.
No.
They never sack anybody. I think they have like 9. I think they have 9, and the next lowest team is like 19 or 20. Like, they never get to the quarterback. So Ben Roethlisberger should be able to stand back there. And if he stands back there, it's going to be a long day for the defense. And so to me, I know that they had some mistakes and turnovers and all those things. San Diego's defense is good. Denver's defense gets a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Jacksonville's defense, the offense stinks, but their defense is still pretty good. I mean, to me, this Raiders game, if they even make this interesting, that makes you wonder, can they beat the Patriots and the Saints?
Well, yeah, I mean, but you look at it the last 3 times, they lost to Raiders teams that were bad. 4-win, 2-win teams. So similar. But it looks like that this Raiders team has really packed it in. They want to have the first-round draft pick, first overall.
Right.
I mean, they traded everyone away.
That's
Everyone's
the point.
on IR. It doesn't even seem like they want to win.
They've got a bunch of younger guys, and they got waiver wire guys, and again, they've got Derek Carr.
Yeah.
So their offense will be, they'll be able to score a little bit, but the bottom line is the Steelers should be able to just thrash that defense.
All right, we're going to take a break. Back with your phone calls and some of your tweets coming up next, right here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
The Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call is brought to you by Ireland Contracting, Pittsburgh's #1 home exterior expert in roofing, siding, windows, and gutters.